the brand. It's a really good brand.
Oh, Corn-Fed Life. Oh, that's the best brand there is.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful day. It's probably in the 60s.
It's a beautiful day in the farmberhood. Somebody's bugging me.
Who's that?
YouTube.
Oh, that
Oh,
YouTube.
cornfed's going live. They just told me. Not those guys.
Oh, no, those are terrible people. We are, too.
The worst.
Yep.
It's not very windy today.
No, it's
It's
perfect.
not a typical Kansas day.
No, it's not.
You have a spider web. It's tagging along.
No, that spider wanted to go for a walk with us.
Yes, he did, but he is not welcome on this walk.
I just put up a short. I don't think you watched it yet, Craig, but I went down to the mulberry trees, and around the bottom of the trees, there was thousands of ladybugs.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's late as night out.
so that's our new infestation. We get a new hi Ahuga. I was gonna say Higgy at first.
Welcome to our little walk,
But
hanging out on the prairie.
every month or so, well, yeah, about every month, we get a new infestation. I guess right now it's ladybugs.
Yep. Warm again.
Yep, now it's time for ladybugs. So we just millipedes. I was before we were walking all over the road and they were just going in droves, and they all go. It's really strange, but they all go in the same direction.
Yeah.
Where are they headed?
I have no idea. Going somewhere.
Yep. If you didn't catch our latest U News, we had some really exciting news, very unusual news, that Oregon is turning conservative. It's like
Maybe.
the least conservative state in the world turning conservative.
Yeah, and they may elect a Republican governor just mainly thanks to the fact that there are two liberals running. One is a Democrat and the other is unaffiliated, but they're very liberal as well. So with the vote split three ways, it's looking like the Republican will win.
Oh, somebody else popped up. I want to see what their name. Papa's Kitchen. Hey guys.
Hey, welcome to our little prairie walk. We're talking politics. We're talking about lots of stuff.
So are you guys better than Mama's Kitchen? Papa's Kitchen? Yeah, we were talking about how Oregon might just elect a Republican governor.
Which
Stranger things have happened.
They haven't had a Republican governor in like 40 years.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not so much that the Oregon political climate is just changing. It's more just the fact that there are two liberals running and one conservative. So the liberals are splitting the liberal vote, paving way for the conservative to win.
I like the name of the independent. Her name is Betsy Johnson. So if I was a liberal, I'd probably vote for her. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And her difference is she's liberal, but she's super pro gun rights. She's very pro Second Amendment. She actually has a really high rating with the NRA. So she'll attract all those liberals who, some of whom do love their guns. So that's that's the big dividing thing, because from what I can gather, she's pretty liberal on all of her other stances, even abortion and whatnot. But guns are a big issue. Oregonians love their guns, just like everybody else.
Yep. We discovered that you cannot mail guns. So don't even try it. Don't even try it there, Craig. Oh, and other interesting news. I'm sure you guys have all heard of this, that Elon Musk has now taken over Twitter, and he fired the CEO and also one of the founders that was responsible for getting rid of Trump. He already fired her. So it should be really interesting to see the climate change on Twitter.
Climate change?
Yeah, that's right.
Are you one of them climate changers?
Hi, RG Arizona Homestead.
Hey, welcome to our little walk.
Say good morning. Hope all is well with you folks.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We can't
It's
complain.
afternoon for us now.
We can't complain. It's a beautiful day on the Kansas prairie. It's actually about, I don't know, it's got to be 60, almost 70 degrees. I'd say it's in the high 60s.
I'd say it's low 60s because I checked the temperature before I left.
And there's no wind blowing. Well, it feels warmer because the sun is really warming me up.
Yeah.
And hardly any wind blowing, which if you know Kansas, it's pretty windy most of the time.
RG is saying that it looks a little flat, and Papa says that he grew up, or she grew up, whoever it is, on dirt roads.
Yep.
So you must like the country songs all about dirt roads. Dirt roads and front porches.
That's why I love dirt roads, make the world spin real slow.
Yeah, I like the flatness out here, RG, because then that means that you get more sky and you get more sunshine.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. It's really nice during the winter when you get more sunshine.
Oh, yeah. Longer days, longer days.
Yeah.
We figured we'd get at least an hour, if not more, longer days than we used to get in Oregon, just because when the sun sets, it's not setting over a mountain. It doesn't set till it hits the horizon. And even then, like the sky really glows for a long time after sunset. So you have quite a long period of twilight.
Yeah, it's nice.
So,
Papa says that it's 65 and very windy in Arlington, Texas.
Oh, okay. It's got to be about 65 here.
And they're wondering, is that wheat fields or corn? I think this is the remnant of a cornfield. They just harvested that. And this guy over here, was that corn too? Yeah, that was corn. So they both were field corn, I suppose. And then I think they're probably going to get started on winter wheat next.
Yeah, they rotate them all the time. Like every few months we see some different type of crop.
Yeah, the big guys out here are the wheat, the soybean, and the corn are the big guys. And the Milo as well. Milo for feeding all the little animals, or the big animals.
Are you calling me a big animal?
It was 23 here in northern Arizona, and
It's a little chilly.
I don't like that the chat goes away before I can read the whole thing. And highs mid 50s today. Ooh, that's cold. That's like Minnesota weather right now.
Yeah, you don't think of Arizona as getting that cold, but I guess it does.
I remember one time we tried to go see the Grand Canyon, and it was so snowy that we couldn't get to the entrance there. There was like, we made 2 attempts on seeing the Grand Canyon. I had never seen it before, but Craig had. And we were able to see it upon the 3rd attempt.
3rd time's the charm.
We did it. And we did it illegally. We didn't even know. So we parked before the park entrance, and we took our little folding bikes, and there was a great big bus at the entrance station taking people's money. And so we just rode on through, and we didn't realize that they charge people, even people walking in.
Even on bikes, they charge you.
Yeah.
How silly is that? So I remember thinking, so they charge you less for a bike than a car. But here's the ridiculous part. I remember thinking if you were a family of 4 riding your bikes, you would pay more than if you just went in the car together.
Yeah, I think it was about $17 a person on a bike.
Yeah.
We
or
found
something
that
like
out when we came back. We were like, oh, we were
Oops.
supposed to have paid. We figured like, oh, if we park ahead of time, then we won't have to pay.
Yeah, what? I've never seen a national park or any kind of park that charges you to go in like on bike or on foot. Like, how silly is that?
RG says that they're talking about snow next week.
Wow.
And in Texas, they say lots of rain. In Texas, maybe into Oklahoma, maybe headed your way. We just got over having a bit of a rain drizzle. It like rained all day long, which is really unusual for Kansas.
Yeah. Usually when it rains in Kansas, it pours like heavy, but it usually only lasts maybe like an hour and then it's gone, it's done. So yeah, very unusual. Yesterday it rained all day. We felt like we were back in Oregon because in Oregon, that's what it does. It will rain for days, just kind of a drizzle all day.
I guess they just had it rain like that in honor of your parents being
Yeah, my
here
parents
so they
were
could
visiting.
feel at home.
Yeah, my parents who live in Oregon were visiting, so yeah, they got a little taste of home.
Share little puppers. And RG says all of them do these days, charging the federal parks. Let me see the whole comment. Won't let me do it. As for the state and federal parks. Yeah, we got a little park pass. The park passes here in Kansas for the state parks aren't too dear. They're just like $17. Or actually less than that. I think they're just like $15 for a whole year. So that's a bit, but the state parks in Kansas are kind of pathetic. There's not a lot of recreation around here.
Yeah, the weird thing about Kansas, I think Kansas has less like public lands than any other state. I think it's like 98% of Kansas is privately owned. So there's just not a lot of like state parks and federal parks or anything. Everything is owned by the farmers and people.
Yeah, so there might be some pretty spectacular views out there that we'll never know about because they're privately owned.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time the state parks have subpar facilities, and like we just went to Coronado Heights the other day, which is cool. It's like a little fort that looks like a castle that was built in the 1930s. But the toilets that they had there were so
Very
scary, very primitive.
We got a video on it if you want to see it on our channel.
They look like toilets from the 1540s.
Yeah. Even my dad, who's not a picky guy, was like, "Oh, I think I'll hold it."
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I'm not really that picky either, but I saw those toilets and I was like, ooh, no.
Hey, here's something you hardly ever see in Kansas. A mud puddle.
Yes, they do exist here.
Yeah, we noticed that the earth here just absorbs the water so fast. Usually right after rain, within an hour, there's not a drop of water anywhere on the ground. That mud puddle shows that it rained a lot yesterday, because it's crazy. In Oregon, when it rains, what we're used to is it'll rain and it might stop raining for days, and there's still, everything will stay wet for like 2-3 days after a rain. But here, it's like within 2 or 3 hours, everything's bone dry again, and you wouldn't even know it rained. In fact, sometimes we'll wake up in the morning and we won't even know that it rained, except that like if we have a bucket outside, it will have collected some water, so we'll be like, oh, I guess it rained last night. But it won't look like it.
RG says, sorry, but when you live in a state that's flat, it's hard to get state or federal parks unless you want to see flat land. Hey, it's Old Man King.
Hey, old man. Welcome back again. Nice to see you again, as always. We're just out on a little walk down the dirt road.
Yeah, we're talking about politics, of course.
Politics and weather. I guess we're
Like
old people
the
too, because that's what
the
old people talk.
least acceptable form of conversation and the most polite form of conversation, all mixed together. It's a beautiful day out here. It's not very windy, and it's in the mid 60s. So I hope you enjoy your flight with us.
Welcome aboard.
Oh,
It's dead.
oh, butterfly.
Didn't make it.
Nope. I almost didn't take the dog with us because we wore him out. He wouldn't give me back the ball to throw because he was so tired.
This little section here with all the trees, we like to call it Rabbit Row because there's tons of bunnies out here. There's also raccoons. I don't know if we'll see them right now. We don't usually go for walks in the middle of the day. We're usually an evening walk type of people. But in the evenings, there's just lots of bunnies, lots of skunks, lots of raccoons out here. We'll see if we spot any today during the day. I'm guessing they're probably all huddled in the trees, but you never know. Sometimes the bunnies come out.
Yep, RG says, I do know that you got some great pheasant hunting in your state. And that's true. Like when Leon was out here visiting, he's
The cows are coming for
a
us.
man in his 80s. He said that he only seen a male pheasant once in his lifetime, but he got to see a couple of them while going for a walk just like this one out here. So yeah, quite a few pheasant out here. Very beautiful birds. And Papa said, yep, the dog is scouting both sides of the road.
Yeah, he knows these trees are full of critters.
And Papa says 66, and there's a lot of beautiful places in Arizona. And then Old Man King says it's 53 right now, 25 last night. So he's got that cold, northeastern weather. I do wish I could go up there though and see all the leaves. Maybe next year. Maybe we'll take Mom to Bath, New York.
The cows are on the move. The
Yep.
ones in the background there.
Yeah, Mom grew up in Bath, New York, and she would like to go through there again. She found her old house that she grew up in, or grew up for a couple of years anyway.
Yeah, she never really grew up.
Yeah. And then RG said Papa's Kitchen. Yes, there is lots of good places in Arizona. It has it all, whatever you're looking for off-road to climbing rocks. And then
that reminds me of a funny story. So speaking of rock climbing, the company, you guys probably know the company Patagonia. They make like all types of outdoor apparel, pretty high-end stuff, pretty expensive, but good quality. That was started as a climbing company. They started by making spikes for the climbers that they would stick in the rocks.
Bye, Papa. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, they started as a company for climbers, and then they turned into this like multi-million-dollar company now. And I just heard the other day that the owner, who I guess is a pretty humble guy, he's now donating all of the company's profits from here on out. All of their profits go to like fighting climate change. In other words, all of their profits are going to keep a few climate fighting companies super wealthy.
Well, he wants to keep it from getting too warm so that people will continue to buy
To
coats.
continue to wear his coats. But I was like, I just felt like that's so sad. Like, why not donate your profits to like feed the poor or I don't know.
RG is talking about alien cows.
Oh, I want to
Let
hear
me
about
see
that.
if you want that.
That sounds interesting.
And Old Man King says it's too late to see the leaves this year. The trees are all bare. And RG says, I hope you don't have the alien cows like we do. They miss, let me see. They miss halves all the time. Do they get chopped in half? Is that what she means? Well, they get, do they get hit by lightning out here? Or is that more of an Arizona type thing?
I don't know.
We did have a really strange thing happen. We could have sworn that this planet was moving. Like, we stopped our walk and we looked up in the sky and it looked like the planet was moving like a satellite. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And we're like, what? What is that? So that's our alien story for the Midwest. You haven't seen any cows, alien cows?
Not yet.
Nope.
We'll keep our eyes peeled.
I used them way back in my day. Started out for the military during World War II and phased our overtime and the parks banned them. I think it's all above my head.
There's the pretty pond. Show them the pretty pond.
I don't know if that's that pretty. It's a joke. The cows came in and and eat my mystery crops.
Can you guys hear the cows? They're mooing really loud in the back.
Must be lunchtime for the cows.
Oh, now as soon as I say it, they all stop. They're all quiet.
They're listening to our conversation. Whew, I now have to take off my coat.
Getting toasty. I'm telling you, it's gotta be pushing 70
toasty
out here. At least it feels like that with this bright sunshine.
Hey, Skycraft. I haven't seen you around for a while.
Hey, it's our little hometown friend. How's it going? Hey, is your football season still going, or are you guys done yet? I got to be on the chain gang last night at the Blue Jays game, and unfortunately for them, they lost, so their season is now over. So how about your season? Is it still going?
He says that he won league, or they won the league.
Oh, very cool.
Wow.
Congratulations.
You guys were so good. We were really impressed.
Hey, shouldn't you be in school right now?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Are you watching this in school? Are you smuggling your phone under your desk or something?
Maybe it's lunchtime.
No, it's like, what is it, like 2 o'clock or something?
Oh.
Or maybe they get out early, I don't know. What time is it?
He said no. He's not supposed to be in school right now.
2:07? You guys get out at 2?
It's a nice day today.
Yep.
Should go out and have fun out in the sunshine. There's a little fly and a big fly that's on my thumb right now. Let's see if I can capture it. There's the little fly. It was being followed by the big fly. I must smell bad.
Amen.
Let me see. Oh, he said state volleyball. And RG says it's called pythons, and you would pound them in the cracks of the rock and would clip your climbing rope to it. Oh, okay. So weren't talking about cows, really.
back to the climbing, but
Skycraft
yeah.
says they get out at 3:30.
Well, it's only 2, so
We pay attention to your teacher. And then he says he has basketball practice from 4 to 6. He's a busy dude.
Oh, nice. Basketball season's going.
Old Man King says the other night I thought I saw a UFO because it was so big, but it was just a plane flying low. I'm about 25 miles from the airport, so it was probably starting its descent. Probably. I love to watch airplanes. My sister had a house where she was directly into the flight path of a major SeaTac, and the airplanes would just fly over every couple minutes, and it was really fun to sit in the hammock and watch those go by. If I could get away from her. I have pizza now, not beef sticks. Oh man, you don't have anything on a stick.
You were the stick guy. Everything in the form of a stick.
Pizza rolls, I mean.
Are we heading back now?
Yep. And then RG says I'm playing hooky from school. They won't miss me. It's only been 50 years.
So, hey, I got a good hooky story about her dad. So her dad, when he was a young kid, was he just starting school?
Yep.
Yeah, so he was 5 years old, I guess. And he would get on the school bus every day. And then
yes,
the school
you
bus
need to get beef sticks.
And then the school bus would stop and let all the kids off. And he would go out into some field and just play all day while the other kids went to school. And I guess he did this for several days until they finally must have got a call from the school or something. I don't know. Somehow they figured out he wasn't going to school. But his parents thought he was because he'd get on the bus every day and then he'd come back on the bus. But he was just out playing and having a good time all day.
Skycraft asked if we wanted him to get beef sticks, and I said, yes, you need to get beef sticks. And he said, okay, be right back. Gotta get those beef sticks.
Yeah, there's actually some beef sticks that they make here locally that are, like, I guess, pretty well known. I see them in lots of shops and stuff. And it's, what do they call it? They're not beef sticks. They're pork sticks. And it's supposed to be like a high-end type of pork. Oh, I'm trying to think of what they call it. I think it's called like heritage pork or something. But they come out of Lebanon, Kansas, which is just down the road from us. Yeah, we actually tried some and they're pretty good. Pretty good. They're pork sticks, but you wouldn't know it wasn't beef. It tastes actually just like beef. They season it real nice and stuff.
Old Man King says you don't realize how many planes go over every day until they disappear. It was so strange not to see planes after 9/11.
Yeah, I bet.
Yep.
Well, if it comes to seeing planes, we've got the planes because, as you know, this is flyover country. So we literally, you can look at any time of day. Also, it helps that the sky is so big since we don't have any mountains. But you can pretty much always see planes. What's really neat is at nighttime seeing them go. One night we counted like 15 planes going one way or the other over us. But yeah, they call this flyover country for a reason. There's always planes going across.
Yeah, you can see it especially during sunset when the sky turns orange. Then the jet exhaust really shows up. Before then, when it's blue like this, you can't really see.
Especially when
planes.
the sun is so bright, it's
it's
too hard to really see anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear them, but oftentimes you don't.
There's their beautiful pond. It's funny out here too because in Oregon, you would never see the cows in the ponds. They just don't do that. But out here, they stand out in the ponds all the time.
Yep, they like to cool off.
Mm-hmm.
Go for a dip.
Maybe it's because there's more trees in Oregon, so they're busy sitting under the trees instead.
The one thing I like about Oregon that I don't often see, I don't think I've seen it a lot in other places. In Oregon, they love to mix their animals all together. Like in Kansas, you'll just see a group of cows or a group of pigs or whatever. In Oregon, it's super common to see the same field being shared by like cows and pigs and llamas and alpacas and horses and sheep and goats. They'll just all be out in the same field rummaging around together, all these different types of critters. And I do miss that. I always like to see that in Oregon. It was fun. Seems like most other places just keep their animals together by kind.
Yeah, speaking of the world changing after 9/11, I learned that the U.S., the FBI, and CIA, especially the CIA, they're not supposed to spy on their citizens, but they share information with other countries. And so if they do want to spy on their citizens, all they have to do is simply ask, like, I don't know which one it is, MI6 or MI5 in England, to do that for them and then share the information. And voila, they can have any information on any citizen they want to.
Yeah, because technically it wasn't them doing the spying.
Right. RG says, I have a better on my friend, and I locked our kindergarten teacher in the bathroom, which resulted in my mom coming to school. It was funny till she showed up. What did you do, Craig?
So I once had my mom for a teacher, and I locked her out of the classroom. She went out of the classroom for something, maybe to use the restroom too.
It gives a little snaky poo.
And I locked her out of her class, and I convinced all the rest of the students to not get up and touch the door. So she was locked out, and she had to go get the principal, who was my dad, to come and open it with his key. And we were all just sitting there, real quiet.
RG says, that's better than mine. Old Man King says, within 50 miles, we have Hancock International Airport, Fort Drum, and Griffiths Air Base. So we have a good amount of planes.
Wow, I would imagine.
That's a whole lot.
And the funny thing is, I probably got in pretty good trouble for that, but I don't remember it, so it must not have been too bad.
She says, how long was it till you sat down or able to sit down again?
Yeah, probably a while. Yeah, and back then, they were still paddling kids in school. In fact, my dad had this, my dad, the principal, had this paddle that's still famous to this day. Kids, when I run into old friends from back in the day, they still say, oh, do you remember that paddle? So it was this big, it was shaped like a boat oar, you know, and it had holes drilled in it, like big holes like this big. So I guess that's to give it a better swing, less wind resistance. So, and I think he handmade it too. But yeah, a lot of kids got familiar with the paddle.
RG says, I remember those days.
Yep. I kind of remember the days when paddles, it was kind of like, I think I was in high school when they started banning those everywhere. You know, it was cruelty to children. But kind of a sad day because kids didn't get away with a lot back then. And I've taught school in some form or another for about 5 years in my life. And kids just have no respect for their teachers. And I think a big part of it is that they know there's no punishment. There's no consequences.
Yep, why should you?
I mean, they can get away with whatever they want, and whatever consequences is going to be very minimal.
Well, there's that, and I think that the parents these days, like our generation of parents, has been about the worst generation for parenting. And just kind of self-involved and not caring about raising the children.
Yeah.
So they let other people do it.
Yeah, and it used to be like, I think back in the day, it was like if a kid got in trouble, everybody believed the teachers. If there was two different scenarios, two different stories, like the kid was giving them some other story. But now, even if their kid is a known liar, I had one student that was like, he was a self-confessed liar. He even said, yeah, I know I have a problem with lying. But he would go home and tell his parents these stories about what had happened to him at school, which was total lies. And they would believe him. I'm like, you're believing your son who's a self-confessed liar. So yeah, that's how it is nowadays. Parents just believe whatever their kids say, and the teacher must have done whatever they said, even though it's ludicrous.
RG says it keeps us in line, and you are correct on that one.
Yep. Yep. The Bible got it right. The Bible said, spare the rod and spoil the child. And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Kids are terrible nowadays. Except Skycraft. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's a good one.
We assume. I don't know. We'd have to talk to his parents.
Oh, you said that just at the right time. He says, I am back with beef sticks.
Yes! Beef sticks.
So while you were gone, we were talking about punishing children.
And we said that we hope you're one of the good kids.
Oh, you know he is.
Because there's not very many anymore. Kids are so ornery.
Yeah. Except in Texas.
Come on.
In Texas, they still say, yes, ma'am, and yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, those Texas kids, they teach them manners over down there.
Skycraft is taking offense at us. He says, hey. I ain't that bad. Oh, we know you aren't. Anybody that can eat that many sticks, he's not bad at all.
There you go. Well, I've heard the kids in Kansas are pretty decent. The kids on the West Coast are just awful.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely not taught any manners out there.
I was talking to an Israeli high school student, and I was asking her about her classmates, and she said that they were crazy, like very rowdy.
Yeah.
Misbehaved. Yep.
Where was this?
In Israel.
Israel. Oh.
Skycraft said, you should see my grade. We are polite. Oh, that's very good.
That's good to hear.
Says, I can say I did too bad. I was in the military and law enforcement 32 years. Just still playing hooky these days. Well, then you've seen all sorts of people. But the women in my class is a different story.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's getting kind of hot out here.
Look at all the giant farm equipment.
Yep.
Pretty fun to see.
You want to stay out of their way.
Yeah.
If it ever comes to a civil war, they should use farm equipment because that is scary.
Yeah.
Skycraft says that 9610 looks like my old one.
96. Oh, that guy over there.
Yep.
96. Yeah, look at this. I'd be pretty scared if this thing was coming at me full speed.
I would get out the way. I would do whatever they say.
It's got giant spikes and then a big roller. You definitely wouldn't survive an encounter with that.
RG says the folks they've seen have been great to the lowest level that you can think of, but not a bad job for me. Well, that's good. It takes a special type of person that can do that.
Yeah, amen.
And still have faith in humanity.
Right. Yeah, I've already lost mine.
I lost mine at a retail pharmacy. I was thinking to myself, oh, I got to get a different job because I'm starting to not like people very much.
I mean, even more.
Yeah, even more.
less. Oh, look at this pheasant.
Oh. I wonder if I got that with my phone or not. I can't really tell. And then Skycraft said, you should see our farm equipment. Oh, yeah? You got some big guns? That stuff is so expensive.
I hope you guys can see that pheasant. I know if you're watching on a phone, you wouldn't be able to see it on that tiny screen, but he flew just a few yards from us. They're so beautiful.
We like the sprayers. We're from the West Coast, and so we don't see a lot of the farm equipment that you guys have out here, only for the first time when we moved out here. But yeah, the sprayers with like the ginormous wheels is pretty cool. RG said, from your last video with the Chinese having police station here in this country. Yep.
Oh, that's insane. How can it, how can a country allow a foreign country to set up like official offices like that in their own country? That's scary. It's like, why don't we just hand over the keys to the Chinese now?
I mean,
call
that's
it a day.
only what we know about. Skycraft saying that he has some big rigs, even bigger than what we saw.
Wow.
But yeah, I would like to see those. Skycraft said maybe I could upload a video to YouTube showing all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you should do
that. Then we'll check it out. You can tag us. You probably know how to do that because you're a kid. But you can tag us in your video so that we know when it pops up. And RG says, I grew up on Catalina Island. If I saw one of those, I would be running for the hills.
Wow, what a cool place to grow up.
26 miles across the sea.
Santa
Catalina is that your favorite song, or are you sick of it?
Santa Catalina,
the island of your pants. Your pants.
Yeah, that's a beautiful little place. I've been there a few times. I actually got to fly into Catalina one time on a little private airplane, which is kind of scary because their airfield is really small, and they explain to you how if they don't land quick enough, you can go off of a cliff down into the ocean. And the same with the takeoff. If they don't get enough speed on that takeoff, they can drop right into the ocean. So they say it's actually one of the more difficult airports around to land at.
Skycraft says he's gonna go live.
He's gonna go live? Awesome.
Yeah. Should show us all the fun things about your family.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Our neighbors showed us all of their chickens.
Yeah, they
have
all
like
kinds.
all these beautiful chickens. They're a fun family. Got lots of fun neighbors out here.
Yep, pretty nice folks. Except those ones. They know who they are.
RG says, I still love the sound. You never land there in a seaplane, you missed a ride. I never even been there. Just the sky.
I think I've been there 2 or 3 times. I don't remember.
Yeah, lives are easier. Then you don't have to edit your video. And it's fun too, because it's fun to chat with people while you're doing it. Okay, speaking of which, I'm gonna end this live because we're almost home.
No. gonna end our lives.
Yep. So thank you everybody that joined us on our walk.
Thanks
And
for coming along.
You guys have a wonderful
It's
afternoon.
fun chatting with you. Have a blessed day.